Good morning. My name is Steve Imhoff, and I'm the owner of a certain domain name, importation.com. This morning, I'm doing my first live event on Facebook, and I'm going to discuss several items, tend to be specific, about importation.com, about the industry, about domain names, about the future, about uses, about the value, and about who might benefit. So firstly, I'd like to welcome you. As I said, my name is Steve Imhoff, and I own this domain called importation.com. I own a portfolio of domain names. I've sold many of them over the years since 1997, and I still have a considerable amount of these domains for sale. But today we're going to be discussing only one, and we're going to discuss the business opportunities that could be built around it. It's an informal discussion about branding, global trade, and the value of a category-defining domain such as importation.com. Let's talk about why imports matter. Everybody knows what imports are. They've been around since Christopher Columbus, when they were bringing tea and all kinds of things to the New World. And in return, they were bringing trinkets and stuff that they found, gold and silver and all sorts of things back to the old world. So import matters because it always has and it always will, as long as the planet is functioning as a normal populated planet. Let's talk about the growth of global trade. Technology has made international sources easier than ever. The internet's been around since the mid-90s. Some will argue before, but in practicality, it was the mid-90s when people started going nuts and finding out about the internet and how it's going to change the world as we know it, and it did. So with the internet, global trade has increased because buyers and sellers were connected now with no middleman, so to speak. Previous to this, imports were handled by people behind the curtains, okay? And magically stuff appeared on the shelves in the stores, and we as the buyers looked. There were even stores that specialized in imported goods back then. I remember one, it was called Import something or other, and they had all this crazy stuff from parts all over the world. And it was, some of the stuff was pretty cool, and you couldn't get it anywhere else unless you went to some country. So now we have the internet, and those import stores are no longer relevant. Let's just talk briefly about what makes a strong domain. As you know, pretty much everybody knows, a strong domain is one word domain. It has to be a word defined in the dictionary for the most part. Doesn't have to be. It has to be memorable. It can't have any confusion factors, a misspelling, importation doesn't have any double letters, and it's not going to be misspelt, where you have other words like pickles, and some people might think it's pickles, P-I-K-L-E-S, or P-I-C-H-L-E-S. I mean, people get confused and don't necessarily know how to spell words. And so having a single one word isn't a grand slam. It's got to be a single one word that can be spelled and remembered by everybody and could be found year after year after year without having to do any research. That's what makes a strong domain. And that's what importation.com is all about. Why importation.com, you might be asking? Well, that's a good question. Personally, I'm a little biased, but if I was a person that was in the importation business, I wouldn't be looking for a domain name for $10 that said, myimporters.com or thebestimporters.com or importsareus.com or a million other variations of import, which the more there are, the better importation is, because those other irrelevant domain names are just going to dilute the pool of import related domain names. And at the end of the day, importation is going to be king of the mountain. And it's going to be standing on top of all those other irrelevant importation websites beneath it. That's why you need importation.com and not some $10 domain. You can go with a $10 domain, but somebody someday is going to buy importation.com. And when they do, it is going to be the best, the biggest importation centric type website. And it's going to bury everyone else with an irrelevant importing domain name. That's why importation.com. Possible uses for the domain. Yeah, you can use it for import and export directory, a sourcing marketplace like Alibaba, trade publication. I can't name any trade publications, but there's lots of them out there. The medical industry's got them, the law industry's got them, engineering industry's got them, you name it. There's lots of publications out there, trade publications. And you can use it for something, a trade publication related to importation. Could be used as an educational platform. Could be. Technically, it could be a nonprofit educational platform to educate people. If it's owned by the government, which I highly recommend some government to do, it's going to be an educational platform and probably not have any fees or charges related to using it. Lead generation website. Again, damn alarm keeps going off. You can use it for lead generation. Submit your form, submit your names and address, questions, et cetera, et cetera. Somebody will get back to you. Could be a consulting business. There are a lot of consulting companies out there in all kinds of things. Hollywood, law, medical, architecture, electrical engineering, you name it, consulting. You can establish a consulting business that's related to importation. People contact you, they set up meetings, virtual, in person. Let's talk about the branding advantage. I kind of already talked about that. Imagine hearing the name once and remembering it forever. As I said earlier, that's the power of category defining domain names. They create trust, they create authority before a visitor even sees the website. Just being the owner of importation.com, again, establishes trust and authority. Automatic. You don't have to earn it. Comes with a domain name. That is a branding advantage of importation.com. Who might benefit? Okay. Import-export companies, obviously. DHL, freight forwarders like DHL, FedEx, all the others. Customs brokers. With importation, you have to clear customs, and you need brokers that do that for you. Trade consultants, logistics firms, trucking outfits, trains, boats, airplanes, industry investors, entrepreneurs building a trade-focused business. All of those may be somebody that might benefit from this. The digital asset perspective. Many people view domains as digital real estate, and that's exactly what it is. There's no regulation right now about digital real estate. It is a type almost like it's an asset, and it's almost like gold, shares of gold or shares of Bitcoin, or it can be traded, it can be bought, it can be sold. It's going to increase in value. It's going to appreciate year after year after year. It's going to appreciate. It can be sold at any time. And it could be held and not used and for some later deployment after a year or 10 years, 50 years. Personally, it's not a bad idea for a long-term investment, like retirement. People buy things and then they intend to hang on to it and then sell it when they retire, and then their income drops down dramatically. Then they cash in on this investment, whatever it might be. Could be CDs, but you should not discount the fact that a digital piece of real estate, like a domain name, wouldn't bring you a return on your investment. It's going to bring a return on your investment. And so you could take investment money and buy a domain, not necessarily importation.com. Right now, I'm just talking about digital assets, okay? And there's lots of them out there. So if you think that this is a valuable domain, but you don't have an import business, well, certainly you can buy it and do as everybody else does. They sit on it for years and they make tremendous returns on the money. We're not talking, I mean, this domain is selling now, or price is just under $1 million. We're going to go up in January. Every year we go up $500,000, okay? Because that keeps up with the domain market. These domains, every year that goes by, there's fewer and fewer of them available. That makes the value of the domains more valuable every year because the pool keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. So you can buy this, just a pure investment, sit on it for 50 years until you retire. You can put it in your will in case you don't make it to 50 years. You've got it in your will. And when you register it, it's possible to register it in a company name, and then a company could be directed by a family, or et cetera, trust, et cetera. So don't rule out the possibility of purchasing this domain because you don't have an importation business. In closing, I want to say thank you for joining us. There's going to be more of these. This is my first one. It's rough around the edges. I'm going to get used to talking in front of a camera, and I'm going to shave, and I'm going to have a nice background, all of the things that I don't have today. Because today I'm broadcasting from the 7th floor of a condo in Santa Cruz in Bolivia. And I'm traveling, and it just so happens I'm in Santa Cruz right now. But I'll be moving along to Peru for 2 months. After that, Mexico. After that, Argentina. Then I'll do the circuit over again. In that time, I'm going to be broadcasting from all over the world about the internet domain name business. And I hope that you'll subscribe to my following on Facebook. Eventually, I'm going to go to YouTube as well, and you can subscribe there. But right now, this is the first one, and we appreciate you being here. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave them. And you can contact us through our Facebook page here called firstly.com. Firstly with a Z, FIRZTLY.com. Until the next time, thanks for joining.